We are introduced this week as a continuation of our avot to Yitzchak Avinu. And we're almost introduced, but at the same time the conclusion happens pretty quickly. Yitzchak does not get a lot of press time in the Torah, not only in the Torah, in the Rambam. When the Rambam in Hilchos Avodas Kachavim Perek Aleph talks a lot about Avram, talks a lot about Yaakov, gets one little line there about Yitzchak. But Yitzchak is also called an Av. So we have to understand a little bit of what Yitzchak is coming to teach us. On one level, Yitzchak is known as the Mamshich. Yitzchak is not the same kochot hanefesh as Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu was going from place to place. Lahafitz Torah Hashem, the crow b'shem Hashem. Yitzchak in the midat of gvura, starting from Akidat Yitzchak, seems to have the tremendous strength, the midat of gvura, to be able to follow along, but not just follow along, but to continue the Mesorah of Avram Avinu. This is why some of the Rishonim say that even Yitzchak had the greater test in Akidat Yitzchak. Well, that's why it's called Akidat Yitzchak, than Avram Avinu. Because Yitzchak is part of the Torah Shebal Peh. He didn't hear it directly from Hashem, like Avram Avinu. And that's the koach of the Mesirut Nefesh that Yitzchak teaches us. To be able to maktin ourselves, to be able to have the proper anava, that strength, to call the be'irot, vayikra lehen shemot, kashemot asher kara lehen aviv. And that's where the different Mefarshim explain, specifically the Ksav Kabbalah, Rav Yaakov Mecklenburg, who explains what is this idea. He's calling the be'irot, these wells, exactly like Avram Avinu. Because the be'irot, Avram Avinu knew is tzarchei rabim. People need water, and they would come. And what were the names of these wells? Be'er lachai ro'i, or Vayikra b'shem Hashem el nisi. All of these different. That's the mizbeach. But all the different be'irot have the idea of being able to listen to Shem Hashem, to be able to inspire people with Shem Hashem. And Yitzchak was the mamshich, to be able to, in his own way, not in a very ostentatious, not in a way of being able to go from place to place, but still the Torah says that Avimelech ufichol sar tzvo said, Ki ra'o ra'inu Hashem imach. Even within his more reserved way, he had the ability of inspiring other people. But I think there's one more step. That Yitzchak is not just a mamshich. Yitzchak is also known as an Av. And the Av, in Rav Kook's terminology, an Av is a person who's creating also. So he's not just, in one sense, a manager, where he just continues on what Avram Avinu did. He also is creating a reality. And if we go through the Parshiot of this week's Parsha, at the beginning it seems to be a carbon copy, Vayhira Ba'aretz. So he should just go down to Mitzrayim. But Hashem says, no, you're different. You're an Olat Tamimah, you have to stay in Eretz Yisrael. You have to create a different reality. Each one of the stories as we continue on is that Yitzchak seems to be similar, but he's creating his own reality. I think that's what Rav Shimshon Rafal Hirsch explains about Yitzchak. Yitzchak, the language is tzchok, it's a joke. Avram Avinu changes his name from Avram to Avraham. Yaakov, the name is changed also from Yaakov to Yisrael. Yitzchak, the exact same name straight out. And it means tzchok, as opposed to the Targum Onkelos, that when Avram and Sarah, that it's called Shomea Yitzchak Hakli, that everyone's going to be happy. Tzchok means laughter, mocking. And could it possibly be that Yitzchak Avinu, 190 years old, and then what happens at the beginning of Akidat Yitzchak, it's no way he's going to be a Yasom, there's no way that he's going to be an Av. Explains Rav Shimshon Rafal Hirsch. Tzchok is what? Is the concept of not being a joke, but it's recreating the reality. It's being able to say it's true. At first glance, it seems to be mockery. But it's being able to take the reality, it seems that things seem to be absurd, and doing something with it, and changing that reality. I can't think of a better week than understanding that we are Bnei Yitzchak Avinu. When at a certain level, we're 3 days away from the horrific Pigua, 24 orphans, 4 widows, same street, a police officer of Chasidu Mot HaOlam. Also, it's absurd and it's painful. But at the same time, we live this reality, this absurd Yitzchak reality, where we have the strength to be able within the emunah and the Ribono Shel Olam to say that I'm Bnei Yitzchak Avinu. And I have that strength to be able to take that reality and recreate that reality in a very mechuvan way of Yitzchak, that Oz Yimalei Schok Pino, that we're able to walk out and understand what Yerushalayim means to us, that they may be attacking our lave. But Baruch Hashem, we have a very strong heart, and we have a strong Am, and we're able to be confident that Am Yisrael Chai, because we are not only Bnei Avram and Yaakov, but also Bnei Yitzchak Avinu. Shabbat Shalom.